Hey, what is up, mortals? Welcome to part 3 season 2. I just wanted to greet you guys by just saying, sit back and relax, you're in for a treat. So, we begin. Beneath a thunderous cloud that rumbled with malice was its master floating with forthright fury and elegance. This was the moment he spent most of his adult life waiting to achieve. A society ruled solely by those born with powerful quirks. And standing in his way were the last two individuals that could stop him, even if it was a minuscule possibility. One wore a composed mask, calculated and measured. The blonde teenager knew that he had to choose his next action wisely. The other foamed at the mouth, glaring daggers at the man who'd brought pain to one of those he loved. Both teens began their respective onslaughts in unison. It's a real shame such power will go to waste. You both could have had great lives in the new world. Nine brought his hands down with a dramatic swing. Bolts of lighting comparable to stage light beams burst forth from the cloud, filling the area with the sound of their thunderous wails and blinding lights. The raging youth that was Deku danced between the blast, contorting his body at odd angles, inching closer in a blur. Nerio harmlessly passed through the bolts like a ghost. Die. Power. Izuku reared his right fist back in preparation. His goal was the complete removal of Nine's head. Nerio tapped into all for one up to 70%. His goal was the incapacitation of Nine and the hopeful capture of Midoriya. That was when Nine stretched his arms out and twisted his hand in the direction of his opponents. Pointless. A split second later, the teen duo were frozen midair and unable to move. Izuku and Mirio struggled, but found that when they'd move an inch, their bodies would go back to their starting position, as if their actions were being rewinded. Have you caught on yet? Nine said with hints of a smile in his voice. I've paused time around you, locking you both in the moment right before your blows could land. That little girl sure had an amazing quirk. Control over time. Nine's fingers glowed with purple light. I could kill you both, steal your quirks, and burn this city to the ground, and there's nothing you could do to stop me. Taunting them, he moved his hands, fast-forwarding the two young heroes into old men and then back to their present state. But where's the fun in that? Blue dragons shot from his back, launching both teens into the pavement. I've been weak for so long. I'll cherish my newfound power by breaking you. No sooner had he said those words did the world begin to bend around him. The air folded in on itself and boiled, condensing into two glowing red spheres. I've got many quirks I'm itching to try out, so please do your best to entertain me. The balls broiled all they touched. When they reached their mark, they exploded in a bright white blast of air. Because if you can't, I will find others that can provide adequate entertainment. Elsewhere, Mirko was dealing with her own problems. Crap. Mirko had to bury her fist into the concrete to keep herself from flying away. She'd been enjoying her fight with Chimera, till out of nowhere some new guy with insane power comes right out of left field. Amazing, isn't it, Rabbit? Chimera said, basking in the aftermath of the explosion. Well, it sure is something. Her body trembled with exhilaration. Hey, quick question for you before I kick your ass. Why? Why are you working for that guy? With the power you got, you could have been a kick-ass hero. The man spat at the idea. Take a look at me. That's all the answer you need. Mirko deflated. She was no stranger to quirk discrimination, especially those with mutant quirks that gave their users unappealing appearances. Damn, that ruins the mood a little. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. Head hung low, Chimera dusted himself off. You are all the warrior I'd hoped you were. I will ensure you live long through this day for the sake of our kind, Mirko-san. But don't think that means I'm going to just give up and go home. Chimera tossed his trench coat to the ground, then began a violent transformation. Standing at 9 feet tall and 900 ibs, Chimera towered over Mirko with an impressive hulking physique. Whistle. Okay. Not bad. I'm still gonna beat you down, big guy. You hold back on me even a little and your ass is gonna. Chimera laughed, interrupting Mirko. You still think you can beat me? Fine, then prepare yourself, Mirko, and remember you asked for it. Muscle fibers began covered up his fur and encased his body in a steel-like armor. This add-on was a gift from our leader Nine. Used to belong to some tough guy named Muscular. It made him a powerhouse. But for one such as I, it's turned me into a true monster. Chimera shot forward, aiming a knee at Mirko's ribs. The hero dodged by mere inches but was blown back by the air pressure, responding quickly with a Mai Tai kick to his head. Mirko's heart almost skipped a beat when he brushed it off. This was it, the thrill of combat she loved and had been without. It was the lack of it that drove her to push forward and satisfy her hunger for conflict. All right, big boy. The kid gloves are off, so don't blame me when you end up having to eat your meals through a straw for a while. Chimera huffed. If that's what you're counting on, we're gonna have to do more than tickle me. Both combatants, hero and villain, were done holding back. Not too far away, Stain and Toga had made it to the battlefield. Blade in hand, Stain surveyed the area, his eye fixed on 9. All he needed was one cut to bring an end to his greatest failure. All Might would then decide his fate. So what's the plan? Toga asked, wanting to do whatever it was that Stain did and help her new friend. Izuku, wait for an opening. That guy's not in range yet, but as soon as there's an opening I shut him down. No more mistakes, Stain said without bothering to look in her direction. Toga was thrilled, because she was seeing her hero in action. Mirio managed to activate permeation at the nick of time. The blast radius of the super condensed air had been insane. Mirio had seen a lot in his short time as a hero, but it was the major league. He had gotten the power which Sir told the young man was his destiny. Armed with it now, he wondered if he truly should have said yes to taking the power. Mirio was far from a coward. He would risk his life for another in any given situation. But now he pondered if it were a selfish act. He and those extremely close to the situation knew Izuku wasn't All Might's true son. But the relationship between the two was akin to the one he shared with Sr. Might I? Mirio couldn't imagine the pain, could imagine similar or worse situations happening to his loved ones as the holder of One for All, a future he could not allow to be. In a nearby crater, Izuku stirred. He was nearly blown apart by the condensed air of one of 9's attacks. If he hadn't been able to harden his body with his shell, it would have been game over for him. He refused to die here. Izuku had a burning desire to accomplish his goals, which at the moment were to apologize to All Might, avenge Uraraka, and see his mother, who was probably worried sick. Like magnets, Izuku and Mirio's attention were drawn to each other. Their resolve to win no matter what unifying them. They regrouped and without a word attacked as a team, watching them zoom through the air towards him. 9 chuckled with amusement. Yes, make me work for it. Izuku opened his mouth and emitted a powerful screech that could shatter glass and melt the brain. The sound wave tore through air, made 9's ears bleed. Disoriented, the villain created a force field around himself to block out the sound. The villain lost sight of his opponents for a fraction of a second due to the pain, and paid the price for it. Curiosity of Mirio. The young hero pounded away at the villain with frantic blows. One broke the villain's jaw. 9 began to fall toward the ground but caught himself in time. Using his newly acquired quirk, he rebuilt his body in time to see Deku flying towards him. 9 raised a hand encapsulating the former hero in a bubble. With a glare on his face, 9 took aim and shot 4-finger-tipped blast of energy through the teen. Izuku roared, tapping into a power his body had neglected for too long. The amber of One for All. The force field was cracked and later exploding. A look of rage plastered his face. Deku continued his charge unaffected by the pain. Common, bring everything you've got. 9 invited with wide open arms. Twin royal blue dragons emerged from 9's back and tried to catch All Might's apprentice. In an impressive show of athleticism, the green-haired teen dodged and leapt over them. When Izuku's clawed fist came within an inch of 9's face, he was frozen in time, along with Mirio, who sought to blindside the villain with a sneak attack. You two are truly remarkable. You would have made excellent additions to the new world. But like I said earlier, there's nothing either of you can do to stop me. But don't fall to despair. Your power will go towards building a new world, my world. 9 reached out to take a hold of both teens who struggled against invisible restraints. It felt pointless, but both teens refused to give in. Snap, crackle, what? A miracle. The horn on 9's head melted, releasing the two teens from their time stop. A savage uppercut from Izuku and a right hook from Mirio rocked 9's brain. Shocked, but emboldened, both began to throw everything they had at 9. They knew if the man was allowed even a moment, he could come back stronger and end them both. Unfortunately, even with the advantage they had, 9 was still able to tap into the power All for One and sent them both flying back. Both heroes and villain were haggard and wearing down. Both sides reached the same conclusion: the fight. It had to end now. Mirio appeared at Izuku's side. They shared a look. 100%. Deku said, I only have enough for one more big strike before my embers of One for All fade away. I can give you one last opening. Stop holding back and make it count. Yeah, I get it. Let's end it. Mirio helped Izuku to his feet. The younger teen dug deep and grabbed a firm hold of what he had left of One for All. Across the battlefield, 9 rose to his feet, bleeding from his head. His regeneration was acting slow, healing him but leaving him vulnerable. Damn it, what happened to that quirk? It's like it just vanished. He cursed. It had never happened before. 9 began to question if the doctor had lied to him and gave him some weaker version of All for One. While he questioned the doctor's work, he noticed the green and black bullet heading straight for him. Izuku Midoriya's right arm extended half a mile behind him like a slingshot. 9 quickly threw up a shield to protect himself just as the fist rocketed forward. Atomic pistol shrimp smash. Boom. Air boiled around Deku's fist. bursting with flame as it connected. The force of the impact was enough to cause a massive explosion and melt through Nine's defenses, incapacitating the villain, while at the same time causing Deku's Nomu arm to erupt and vaporize. Seizing the opportunity, Mirio powered up One for All to 100% plus Ultra Phantom Menace. A torrent of 100% smashes came flying at Nine from every angle. Mirio kept it up until the villain slumped over in defeat and his fists were broken, bloodied and bruised. It was finally over. Mirio rushed over to his junior's side. Izuku was in poor shape. His arm was gone. He was bleeding from his wounds and his ebony skin was reverting back to its usual color. "Oh man, just hold on. I'll get you help." Mirio tore off his cape and did his best to stop Izuku's bleeding when a beam of light pierced his chest. To Mirio's dread, Nine stood behind them with a pointed finger. "You know, I was giving you two a sporting chance earlier, but I'm done making mistakes and playing around." The enraged villain began charged, a blast in his hand, aiming his palm at the gravely injured duo. "I'm ending this now. No more games, no more." In that moment, the energy in his hand fizzled out. His muscles and body were motionless as he fell to his knees, powerless. I can't move. What is this?" He looked for the cause and laid his eyes on a man covered in knives and crimson clothes. The man was licking a pool of Nine's blood left behind from his battle with the teens. "It's over," the man said, walking over to him with a firm grip on his katana. Without another word, he aimed the tip end of his katana at Nine's back where his heart is, and brought his sword down on the man, ending his life. The fight had finally ended. Seconds later, a loud impact erupted over a hill of debris. All Might came over the rubble, carrying an unconscious chimera over his shoulder. When he laid eyes on Izuku, the man ignored the world around him. Toshinori took the teenagers in his arms. Izuku looked up at his idol and uttered few more words to his savior. "All Might, I'm sorry. I failed you." Seconds later, Midoriya lost consciousness. Outro. Thank you all for indulging yourselves in the story thus far. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, there are a few more things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, we've got a second channel called Anime Deep Dive. Anime Deep Dive goes deep into the facts and lore of a wide variety of anime. It's sure to expand your weeb knowledge for all kinds of series, guaranteed. On top of that, we have a third channel called We The Celestials Naruto What Ifs. It's what we do on this channel already, but in the vast world and lore of Naruto. Go check it out if you're in the mood for some jutsu action. Secondly, on behalf of We The Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved in the production of today's awesome content. Their details will be in the description below. Lastly, if you're interested in what we do here at We The Celestials, then I would like to extend out an invitation to join the team. The only caveat being we only accept members 16 years and up to join our crew. You can sign up for whichever category fulfills your interests by joining the recruitment Discord using the link in the description below. Our Discord is an all-around fantastic place to be. Whether you're a fan or looking to join our band of misfits, we're always looking for members to join us. Well, that's it from us for today's video. So, thank you all for watching, and have a great day.